The government are refusing to officially close pubs and clubs, even while people have stopped attending them. It's put the hospitality industry in a very difficult place. They can't claim compensation because they haven't been told to close, but they don't have any customers. Now, this is the kind of position, the kind of situation where you would want the Chancellor to step in and do something to provide some support. Yet so far, Rishi Sunak has done nothing. Potentially, that's because he's been distracted in California. He spent all week meeting tech bosses in Silicon Valley. His absence has been noted by the Labour Party.
Every single time, whether it's Afghanistan when the Foreign Secretary was on a beach, whether it's now when businesses are falling over and the Chancellor is somewhere in California when he should be here working to keep our businesses going, every single time this is a government that goes missing in action, and it's just not good enough.
That was Lisa Nandy. Ryanair have also got in on the action. They tweeted, "It's not often we plug our rivals, but there's plenty of flights from California back to the UK if you've got urgent business to attend to. Hashtag come back to help out." The mockery clearly shook Rishi Sunak. He sent this Skype message to reassure the Brits.
Well, I appreciate that it is a difficult time for the hospitality industry. That's why I was on the phone earlier today with various industry leaders from the hospitality space.
He's like a parody of himself. From the hospitality space, he's been spending too much time on like Facebook beanbags. He's planning to disrupt his hospitality space by, I suppose, removing the customers. Ash, Rishi Sunak is back. He's still offered nothing to hospitality whatsoever. How long do you think this can last? Because it is really cynical, isn't it? Saying we're not going to close you, so we don't have to compensate you at the same time you don't have any customers. It's real, it's a catch-22.
He's been in the metaverse with people who are disruptors in the food and drink universe. So I kind of think you shouldn't be too harsh. I mean, it is wholly cynical. And that's one of the things that we were talking about at the very beginning with Plan B and also the floated Plan C, which is in a context of rising infections where businesses are having to deal with not only cancellations, declining customers, but also their staff having to take time off, self-isolate, so on and so forth. It's that removing the order to close is a technicality that the government used to say, well, you made your choice. You chose to close. We didn't say that. Insurance doesn't pay out. And so what are you supposed to do? You have businesses, particularly in London, who are also making the decision from a moral perspective, which is, there's our bottom line. Christmas is, one of our busiest and most lucrative times of the year. But to what extent do we want to be complicit in the spread and transmission of a hyper-transmissible variant of COVID? I'm not certain that closing down public life would be the right thing to do. I think we'd have to see what the hospitalizations look like at the minute, but making available a support package to businesses who are presently affected by COVID just seems like complete common sense. We have a, horrific productivity rate in this country as well. And it's not going to get any better if you come out the other side of this pandemic and you had good, viable small businesses who are forced to, shut down permanently because the government was, unwilling to borrow at what are still historically low interest rates, even though they went up, marginally this week as well. So it is wholly cynical, but there is also a second layer of cynicism, if you will. So if you think of this as a cynical trifle, we're really getting to the lady fingers now, Michael, is that Rishi Sunak loves a disappearing act. Anytime things get a bit sticky for his boss, Boris Johnson, you see him nowhere, right? He is like a ninja, just blends in with the wall. You will never see him move. He has, I think, quite consistently tried to build up a public perception of himself and a kind of self-branding, which is independent of the Conservative Party and indeed Boris Johnson. He is the mate who, when you get in a fight, is like on the bus out of there. So there is also a layer of political cynicism here as well as financial cynicism.